my name is Jessica Reynolds. I'm the Director of the Office of Downtown Development at the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, and I am so excited to be here with you today to talk about the annual assessment process. Let me tell you, this is probably one of our most popular webinars that we do every single year, and we do it typically in September because we want to make sure that you have plenty of time to prepare for the upcoming annual assessment process. So what I'm going to do today is walk you through everything. So if I can, there we go. So what are we going to talk about today? So we're going to do an overview of the 2020 assessment process. We're going to talk about the different regions and communities that we're going to be meeting with, what to expect if you're one of those people that isn't presenting. And if you're not sure if you're presenting or not, we will go through that list so you guys will know. What to expect if you're one of those people that will be presenting, help take a little bit of the mystery and the nervousness out of it. We're going to talk about how to find resources on our website. We're going to talk about the GEMS designation process, what the changes happened this year and what it will look like moving forward. I've also got a little fun activity at the end to evaluate your program's preparedness. So you can say, yes, I'm ready, or no, I'm not, and the next steps for each and every community. So, overview of the annual assessment process. All Classic and GEMS designated communities must complete an annual assessment. So that means regardless of who you are and what your designation is at the Classic or GEMS level, you are going to have to turn something into us every single year. Now, the difference is that some communities, about a third of you, will make an actual one-on-one presentation. But the way it's set up is that it's only once every 3 years. So we have about 100-ish programs that are designated at the Classic and GEMS level. We break that up, and so a third of you present with us annually, and then the other third is what I call the off years. It means you're still providing us documentation, but you're not having to do that full assessment and that full presentation with us. So you get a little bit of a relax every couple years. Everybody's information, regardless whether you're presenting or not presenting, everything is due by January 15th, 2020. Assessments, we call it the 2020 assessment, but it is based on 2019 information. So again, we're always reporting on stuff that has previously happened. And I will say, especially for people who are new managers who are coming in, and this can be a little bit intimidating, don't wait till the last minute to get started. I say this every single year. I'll preach again and get on my soapbox for a minute, but the nice thing is that the assessment cycle used to end at the end of December. We moved it back a couple of weeks into January so that everybody could enjoy their holidays and not have to stress out. That's for us as well as for you guys. But we just like you guys take time off over the holiday season. We want to be able to help you and make sure that you're ready and prepared, but that's what today is for, and that's what these next couple of months are for. So let's if you have questions, concerns, let's address them today. Let's talk about them soon. Let's not wait till the end of December, beginning of January to dive in. All right, next. So if you're wondering if you are a Main Street community that has to present in 2020, these are the ones that have to. So we are working with Region 1, Region 2, Region 5, and Region 7. If you see your name on this list, again, I'm not going to read out every single one because you guys are perfectly capable of reading. This information is also on our website. But if you are one of those communities that's in one of those regions, you will be presenting to us. And when I say us, I mean the Office of Downtown Development team. Locations. So for our 2020 meetings, we will be meeting in, we have 3 different dates set up to do these assessment meetings in 2 different locations. So every year we look at the calendar, we look at the different regions we're serving, and we say, okay, this is how many people we're meeting with 101, this is the most accessible, and we pick different dates and locations. Because of the way that everybody is spread out, we're only doing 2 different locations this year, but again, 3 different weeks, which people will be able to select from. So we will be in Rome, Georgia, January 28th through the 30th. We will be in Athens the 4th through the 6th of February, and then again the 11th through the 13th. One of the things that I like the most about what we do is that you get to pick the time, date, and location that works best for you. So we have a fully digital online sign-up system you get to look at that and say, hey, if I'm one of those communities that gets to present, I get to select the time, the date, and the location that works best for me. We leave that completely up to you. And if you are one of the presenting communities, this information is on our website. I will show you how to access it, but we will also send it to you directly. I know that some people have already been on our website. I'm going to give Athens a shout out. They've already picked their date and time and stuff like that. So, again, thinking ahead, being prepared. So, literally going to walk you guys through this. If you've never seen this before, this is what our website looks like, georgiamainstreet.org. When you go to the resources section on the top there, you will see a drop down. You want to click on Resource Library. When you click on that, it will take you to the next page. You want to click on the filter by category, and you're going to select annual assessment. Everything you need to know about annual assessments will be on this next page. And then you're going to come to the middle here and click on this section that says 2020 Community Annual Assessment Presentation Schedule, Template, and Sign Up. We literally spell it out. Everything that has been shown already is already on there, as well as a link to sign up. Oh, excuse me, guys. And the template that you will be using to present with. And then when you're on this page, you scroll down. There it says to reserve your spot and location. I went in this morning and made it bold so you can't miss it. And then as you will see here, not only do we have the regions, the communities, we've got the meeting dates and locations, we've also got the physical addresses for where we will be meeting. And then again, you'll see here on the bottom, using the provided PowerPoint presentation template. If you click there, it will actually allow you to download a copy of that presentation template from this website. All right, so quickly for non-presenters, you guys have a little bit easier time this year. But again, if you're a non-presenter, that means you've presented for the past 2 years, or one of the past 2 years. So you've earned a little bit of a reprieve. Again, you're still required to submit documentation to us every single year. You do not have to complete that comprehensive annual assessment document, the one where you have to meet so many points to reach a threshold in order to be accredited. You must submit all your monthly reports. So if Elizabeth has been hounding you to get all your stuff in and up to date, that is extremely important and could affect your accreditation standing. If you have to sit there and say, have we not, you probably need to look into it. You must complete and sign the annual assessment affidavit checklist. I will show you what that looks like in a second. Your documents, again, we share this and we share everything through Dropbox, so that needs to be uploaded in an order. Your assessment information is due by January 15th, just like everybody's, again, based on 2019 information. Now, when I talk about this checklist and affidavit, I'm going to click to the next page and show you. Again, this is on our website. I'll show you in a few minutes how to get to it. But we really, honestly, guys, try and spell it out for you as much as possible. Everything on this list, nothing is optional. Everything needs to be included and uploaded to your Dropbox folder. We even spell out what folder it needs to go into, so you don't even have to think about it. So you'll see map of Main Street Program district boundaries needs to go in the annual assessment folder. Your board roster, you need to use the DCA template. That needs to go in the standard 5 folder. If you have bylaws, which you should, please don't tell me you don't, that needs to go in the standard 5 folder. Again, this is, we're trying to, make this dummy proof for you, make it so you don't have to search, make it so you don't have to work too hard. Everything that you need for a non-presenting community, it's all right here for you to check off, sign, be good to go. We've got this as an editable PDF on our website. All right, for those who are presenters, again, you get to pick your time block, location, and date that works best for you. I'm not your mom. I'm not going to harass you. You need to have ownership and you need to pick a time and date that works for you. If for some reason you do not sign up for a presentation, if you are not presenting, if you know you need to and you're not doing it and you choose not to present, it's not optional. You don't go on probation. You just go straight to the affiliate program. We will reach out to each and every individual community ahead of time, so you will know where you fall within this. So again, no excuses, total ownership over this. Each time block is 2 hours in length. So what to expect when you show up. We will give you, again, that presentation template. That template, it is your step-by-step instructions about what you need to talk about during that presentation. We have questions and even subcategories for those questions. There should be no reason why you don't understand what we're looking for. We really try, again, guys, to make this dummy proof for you. I know that some people get nervous presenting. We want to make sure that you understand what we're asking for and what we mean by each thing. So that PowerPoint template is really your guide to, what we're going to be talking about when we all sit down together. Presentations themselves, we have 2 hours together total. The presentation, no more than an hour in length. I know you're going to be thinking, how is it possible that a presentation would take more than an hour? Let me tell you, we've had some presentations that have gone 2 hours. We get talking, we start sharing information, we start asking questions. It's really easy to get off track. We want to keep that focused. The rest of the time after that 1 hour, we're going to sit there, go through Dropbox together, look at monthly reports. I want to see we provide you your cumulative impact. We talk about that, as well as the actual annual assessment document. And then we have time for Q&A at the end, so we can have discussions. So, remember, when you're putting this presentation together, we're only focusing on that for an hour. What I will say too is that it is branded the Georgia Main Street brand. If you would like to brand it to be community specific for you and to be specific for your program or your city, that is completely fine. We just ask that all the same questions are answered and addressed. I will also say that think about what makes you unique. Think about what makes you different. Visuals are key. For us, we can see 30 plus communities all within a couple week period. Visuals really helps you stand out. It helps us understand what we're looking at, what we're talking about. We're not there to read paragraphs and paragraphs off of pages. I don't want you necessarily just looking at the screen and reading to me. Again, we're all adults here, so get creative. Think about what you would want to see. Break it down. If you were having to present this even to your city council, your mayor, how would you explain the things that you're doing in your program? You need to bring someone with you. So as much as we love to see your smiling faces, managers cannot come alone. You need to bring someone with you. That means either your board chair or your supervisor or your city manager or your mayor or more than one person. We love to have extra people. We are having to limit it this upcoming year just purely because of the space we're working with as far as like logistics go, the actual literal space. The design studio is awesome, but it is not super huge. So we're not going to be able to accommodate 15, 20 people. So the manager and 4 other people, 5 people total, because if you think about it, we have a big staff as well. We want to all be there, be able to contribute. And so that could be up to 10, 11 people total. So you need to bring someone with you. After presentations, review Dropbox, do all that fun stuff. Again, all documentation due by January 15th, 2020. Everything except your presentation. So even if you're presenting with us, everything else needs to be turned in by January 15, 2020. That is because prior to meeting with you, we will go through and do a cursory review, making sure that all the documentation is there, everything is where it needs to be, so that way we can address it at the actual annual assessment meeting that we're going to have one-on-one. You can bring your presentation to us on the day of the event. You can put a copy in Dropbox, which I always highly recommend as a backup, and then bring your actual copy on a USB drive. All right, Dropbox. I'm going to harp on this for a minute. I will say that 90% of you are doing exactly what you need to do with Dropbox, and I love you for it, and it's awesome. And I will say, not only does it help you, it helps us as an office, and it also helps for succession planning in the future. If you log into your Dropbox and it looks like this is an actual snapshot of Acworth's Dropbox folder that they share with us. This is what I want to see. I want to see years. I want to see 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. I want to see all this information broken down by years. You can see they they are a new designated GEMS community, so their GEMS application documents from this year are in there. And then they've got logos, that financial reimbursement program. That's something I asked Jeff to share with me the other day, so he put it in there. But basically, this is what I want it to look like. Makes it easy to sort through, makes it easy to find. I mean, think about it from our perspective. We're meeting with 30 plus communities, in 3 weeks time, and then we still have another 60 plus communities that we have to assess, go through each folder. in theory, guys, you want us to go through that folder as quickly as humanly possible, right? So we want to look at that affidavit checklist, say, yes, they have this, this, and this. It's in all these folders. Everything looks snappy, and you want us to move on. Because when we have to spend time digging for stuff, looking for stuff, that's when we're going to start to get picky, right? So in theory, you just want us to get in there and get out. So when you click on a 2019 folder, again, this is an actual example of one of our communities folders. This is what I want to see. We see standard 1 through 10, and then a special folder for annual assessments. Doesn't have to get fancy, doesn't have to have language, needs to be organized, short, sweet, concise. If you were to go into the annual assessment folder, then you would see subfolders, for Main Street District Map, org chart. Again, we give you guys everything and say where it needs to be and how it needs to be organized. The great thing is that once you're set up this way, you can copy and paste from year to year. So you don't have to recreate everything, start from scratch. But this is what we want to see. If your folder does not look like this, be concerned. We are here to help you. We are here to guide you. We are here to help you be successful. If you need help, please just ask for it. But this is what Dropbox needs to look like. I will say that, we have worked with people the past couple of years to get everybody where they need to be. I know that when we originally started all this in 2015, we were like, we just need to see these things in there. Well, unfortunately, I just didn't see how big and how expansive this would grow to and how different everybody's organization styles are. And if I could have started back from the beginning and say, everybody's needs to look like this, I would have done that. But for the past 2 years now, we've had a specific organization structure in place that everybody needs to keep in mind and keep to. And that's what we're asking. If for some reason everything else is perfect, but your Dropbox is a hot mess, we're not playing around. You'll move to the affiliate level or be de-designated. We cannot spend time on this. We've got other things we need to focus on. We need to be helping you guys with work plan development. We got other projects that are in the works. I want to be able to focus on the good things, the training, the webinars, making sure that we're providing you the tools and the resources needed. We don't need to be focusing on the basics, guys. All right, moving forward. Again, Dropbox, you're required to keep all your information up to date all the time. You're also required to keep historical information. For some people, if your Dropbox is unorganized and you're like, I inherited this, I did not do this, I always say one of the best ways to kind of start fresh is make sure that your 2019 folder is good to go. If you can pull your 2018 folder together and then put, a folder called historical data or information and dump everything else in there so that it looks clean and neat, but you can search it if you need it. Again, we want to archive stuff. We don't want to delete it. And again, if you need help, ask. All of our team members are familiar with Dropbox. We use it daily for our team as well as with you guys. If you need help, we are more than willing to help you with that process. All right, finding resources. This is going to talk about what's on our website. So again, you go to the main page, georgiamainstreet.org, go to the resources section, resource library, again, annual assessment. Here's a couple different things. Remember earlier we talked about for those presenting, we've got that section right there. That's your annual assessment presentation schedule where you can sign up and do everything you need to do. For those non-presenting communities, that checklist I showed you right below it, right there. And then we're talking about Dropbox and how to structure Dropbox, how to use Dropbox right underneath it. All these things available on our website. And this presentation today will also be uploaded to the website by the end of the day. All right, for those who are interested or curious about the GEMS designation process, this year we rolled out a new GEMS designation process. So GEMS are required to be redesignated every 3 years. The cities are invited to submit an application to ODD. So what this looks like in a practical sense, if you are already designated as a GEMS community, you have already been notified and reached out to. We have given you an application. You will complete that application and turn it in by January 15th, along with all of your data, your current annual assessment data. And then We will set up a separate site visit and presentation date for you to do this one-on-one. For the rest of the communities who are not currently designated as a GEM city, but are interested in how this whole process works and how you become a newly designated GEM city, what you will do is go through your normal annual assessment process. You will sign up to meet with us one-on-one. We will, go through your presentation. Again, this is where you're going to want to shine. You're going to want to highlight projects. You're going to want to highlight community involvement. You're going to want to highlight all these things. Make sure that your presentation's spot on with everything that we've asked. And if during your regular one-on-one presentation with us for the annual assessment, our team is impressed, if we think that you're doing exceptional things, then we will invite you to apply to become a GEMS designated community. You would then fill out the application. Upon receiving the application completed, we would set up a site visit and another one-on-one meeting for you. So if you are one of those communities and you want to be considered for GEMS, all you have to do is go through the regular assessment process, and we will make those recommendations based off of what we see and hear in these meetings with you guys one-on-one. For those communities that were redesignated this year, we have about 10 of them and 2 new designations going to Dublin and Ackworth. These are some new incentives that are being rolled out. We will facilitate one work plan session by an individual ODD staff member every year. For those GEMS communities, they get a permanent $15 registration rate for Main Street 101 online. I will tell you that our GEMS communities, their boards and managers are all trained in 101 certified. Again, just incentivizing that process for those who are already going above and beyond and doing it. They will get 1 complimentary facade rendering or $150 credit annually to the design studio. They get $150 registration credit to attend the Main Street Now conference, which is also known as the National Main Street Conference every single year. They get a discounted rate for the design studio. They also get discounted training rates and exclusive access to funding opportunities and grants from the National Main Street Center. They reach out to us when they've got new programs and things like that. And I will say that we always give GEMS communities first dib, because we know that the work that they're doing is already exceptional and far above and beyond, and they'll be able to meet any requirements set forth by the National Main Street Center. And then also one of the newest things that we're doing is that newly designated GEMS communities under this new designation process will also get a GEMS designation street sign that they can put up to highlight their new designation to their community. So excited about that. So the fun part, is your program ready? Meaning, are you ready today for the annual assessment? If I log in to your individual community's Dropbox folder and it looks like this, let me tell you, you're not ready. It doesn't need to look like this. Remember, I want to see those individual years. So if I log in and even there's a bunch of folders, there's a bunch of items, you're not ready. If I log into your 2019 folder and I go to standard 5 and I see a folder for board minutes and I go in and there's no board minutes in it, you are not ready. We are more than halfway through the year, which means you've probably had 5, 6, 7 board meetings at this point. We want you to keep this information up to date at all times. So every single month you should be putting board minutes in there. You should be putting the board agenda. You should be putting your budget reports in there. We need to see that. You shouldn't wait to the end of the year to do it. If this is the first time right now that you've ever seen this 2019 annual standards for accreditation document, you're not ready. This is available on our website. You should be familiar with this. Granted, we don't make major changes from year to year. We kind of save those changes for every 3 years. But if you have not looked at this document yet, if you have not reviewed it, if you have not gone through this document with your board of directors, you're not ready. If you have not signed up yet, this is a little screenshot of our sign up program for people to choose their dates. You're not ready. Oh man, I was so excited about these. I guess I ran out. But if you have not signed up yet, you're not ready. All right. So next steps for those who are presenting next year. First things first, reserve your presentation spot. Log on today, go onto the website, reserve your seat, reserve your space. Download that 2019 annual assessment document. Again, it's going to be on that page with all the resources on the annual assessment stuff. Conduct an initial review of this with your board. That means sit down together, go through it and say, where are we at with all this? Does this make sense? Upload all programmatic documents that you have to date to Dropbox. Again, if I log in and look at your 2019 standard 5 folder under board minutes and there's nothing in it, you're not ready. Double check that your monthly reports have been submitted. You guys should be getting copies of these every single month. If you need help, have questions, please reach out to Elizabeth. She can help you, or send a general email to our Main Street address. Again, download a copy of the Main Street presentation template off of our website. Don't wait till the last minute to look at this. And last but not least, take a deep breath. You guys will be fine. I know that, this is our third round of in-person assessments. It can, I understand everybody else will tell you, I was so nervous about this. It's so intimidating. But when you get in there, we're there to be advocates for you. We're there to help you. We're there to assist you. We're there to understand the program. We're there to make sure that you have the resources that you need, that you're getting the support you need. So when you sit down in that room, you have 5-6 friends that are there to help keep you on track and to help make sure that you're doing okay. So this is not a gotcha situation. We're not there trying to trip you up. We're just there to support you and to make sure that you guys are keeping things on track and moving forward. If you are a non-presenting community, first things first, do an initial assessment of your Dropbox. First thing, that's what I would do, is go and say, is my Dropbox looking like it's in order? Make updates and archive information as needed. Download a copy of that annual assessment checklist for you that we have off the website. Upload supporting documentation. Double check to make sure all your monthly reports have been submitted. Have a board chair and supervisor. Finally, this would be the last thing that you would do. Sign the affidavit and upload a copy to Dropbox folder, and then relax. You're all done. Again, it's supposed to be easier on your off years, so we've set it up that way. And I know that sometimes when we're going through the annual assessment process, we feel like this, but my goal is to get you guys feeling like this. Relaxed, chill, enjoying it, understanding what the expectations are. So, all right. I know that we're going to have questions. So let me take questions from you guys. There's no way we've gone and I have no questions. Excited, I like that. All right, we got questions. All right, let's see. Is there a way to change the ownership of our shared DCA Dropbox folder? For example, different city staff members own ours rather than Main Street manager. Should not. Yeah, absolutely. If you just reach out to me directly, I can go in there. We can remove anybody that doesn't need to be on it, or we can change the settings so that they could just view the information but not necessarily have any access to it. Yep, that's an easy thing to do. Oh, good question. We were late on one of our monthly reports. What does that mean? What do I put on the assessment? Oh my God, this is the biggest deal in the world. No, honestly, guys, it happens to everybody. Life happens, events happen, busyness happens. Everybody's going to be late on one every now and then. That's okay. What I'm more concerned about is if you're perpetually late, and then we need to kind of like sit down and have a heart-to-heart about like why you're always perpetually late. But if you've missed one, or if you're missing it by like a day or something like that, honestly, not that big a deal. Don't worry about it. I would say, you probably know if you're on our list, our quote unquote list that Elizabeth and I have, but you're okay. I just want to see that everything is up to date and in there. I would say that this is your opportunity. If you don't have everything straightened out now, let's do it. If you, for some reason right now, if you don't have a link to Canton's Dropbox, or sorry, Belinda, I just called you out. If you don't, Belinda, I will give you a link to Canton's Dropbox. But if for some reason somebody else doesn't have a link to Dropbox, that should have been another you're not ready question. But if for some reason you're not connected to yours, if you need help connecting to it, if you can't access it, please just reach out to me. It is an easy fix for us. It's an easy thing to update and get you guys connected. Question, do meeting minutes need to be signed or is unsigned copies okay? Unsigned copies are fine. Again, it's just for us to be able to see generally, you know, what you're doing and talking about. So yes, unsigned copies are fine. That can't be all the questions. Either that or I just did such a fabulous job and you guys know it all. I will say, again, for the newbies, this can be, you know, super intimidating. And, you know, it's just one of those things, take it, you know, day by day, step by step. And if you need help, please feel free to reach out and ask. Anna, I did see your question. Give me 1 second. You know, we're here to help you. And one of the things too is that, you know, your neighbors are there to be a resource for you as well. So, you know, if you're feeling like you're struggling or just have one of those am I crazy questions, you know, again, you can reach out to us, reach out to your mentor or mentee through Georgia Downtown Association if you have one, reach out to one of your neighboring regions, and you know, one of us will be able to help you. A great question that Anna asked is, can non-presenting cities be invited to apply for GEMS? As of right now, no. So we're really just looking, because we have so much to do with the general annual assessment process, is that we're only considering new designations for GEMS on the years that we are meeting with them one-on-one. So for region 3 and 4, these processes weren't in place for you the last go around. So you won't be presenting this year, you'll be presenting in 2021. That is when we will be reassessing GEMS designations for you guys. Reading questions, so if you hear me pause for a second. That was a good question. So is Dropbox a way to start building that potential GEMS portfolio? Should we be putting photos, projects, portfolios, et cetera, in separate organized folders too, or no? I would say that, so the way the annual assessments will be working, you know, is that you guys are meeting with us every 3 years, which means that every time you're presenting, you're looking at not just 1 year's worth of information, you're looking at 3 years worth of information. So that means when you're potentially being considered for your GEMS designation, we're again not just looking at 1 year, we're looking at 3 years. I would say that if you are one of those people that is super organized and you want to be able to remember the cool stuff that you've done and what needs to be mentioned and kind of categorize, it's never a bad idea to keep, you know, some documentation, whether it's in there for you or in there for us. You know, we only require the things that you're seeing on, you know, the visual guide to Dropbox, that document, and this the annual assessment stuff. But again, more is never a bad thing. We just want to make sure that it's organized. But I think, yeah, I think that's a great idea. If that's something you want to work towards, I think tracking that and making sure you have a way of keeping, you know, your eye on the prize is good. How often is the presentation cycle? So again, every 3 years. So you have 1 year where you present and then 2 years where you're off. So this next year, again, we identified those regions. The year after that will be regions 3 and 4, the metro area. And then the year after that, we'll be back in South Georgia like we were this year. Could we see a copy of a good assessment from another community that doesn't mind sharing? Are you talking about like the actual annual assessment checklist, like that full standards of the presentation? Okay, yeah, I can talk to a couple communities and see if they wouldn't mind sharing their presentation and put some examples on the website just so you can get a feel for what their presentation looked like. I think, you know, our two newly GEMS designated communities. Dublin and Ackworth would be great examples of that because they're the ones that actually went through, you know, kind of the presentations and making those, you know, presentations to us, and then, you know, moving through that whole process. So yeah, absolutely. Would be more than happy to share that with you guys. And I'll reach out to Tara and Jeff and make sure that they're fine with sharing it. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to wrap it up now, but if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us, reach out to myself, reach out to anybody on the team. Again, we are here to help you. We are here to make this easier, simpler, and help work y'all through this process. So I appreciate your time today, and I will talk to you later. Have a great day, y'all.